what's going on, the world being turned upside down. So obviously, everybody realizes that this is a opportunity to recalibrate the world, and obviously the recalibration of the world is what's necessary before Mashiach comes, because that's what Mashiach is. It's an awakening, and imagine, if I could sit and share with 5, 6, 7 guys that can't get anyone's attention. Imagine trying to get, a couple million Jews' attention at the same time. Mashiach is a lot more talented than me, I'm sure, but ultimately, I don't know. It's hard to imagine he's 500,000 times more talented, or 500 or 1,000,000 times more talented, or maybe just say the opposite. If you can't get someone's attention, then you can't get someone's attention, right? If you're not available, if you're not tuned in, then it's just not negaya. So how is it to be shaykh from Mashiach to blow a shofar? Everyone's going to wake up, right, and join when everyone's going to be so distracted. So obviously there has to be some sort of reset, some sort of recalibration, and that is what's going on now. Because the moment people lose their sense of security, and people have to, and they realize that everything that they thought that they were heading towards is going to, it may not happen, right? So then they started reevaluating. So what are we here for? What's the point, right? I thought I was going to be a doctor. And I thought that'd be my whole tachlich. I could get a nice car, have a nice house, and I'm going to have nice clothes, and have everything to be able to live a life of luxury. And all of a sudden recognize that a life of luxury is not in our hands. The people that are living the most luxurious lives, all of a sudden, the businesses could be shut down in a moment. Their health could be taken away in a moment, and you could have the president of the United States can be sneezed on, from 20 feet away. And who knows whether he'll be the president of the United States, so there's just zero security. And so a person that has emunah has the answers. A person that doesn't have emunah falls apart because all of a sudden the whole life blows up in front of them. This is, going back about the 18 and a half years ago, after 9/11, this was a sense in the street. Everyone's were planning, and who knows whether America's going to survive. And the people that were all invested in the American lifestyle were like really upset. Like, how could this be? I just invested years of schooling, and I finally got the job that I wanted. I'm about to settle down and live the American dream, and poof, it's just a dream, right? I woke up. I cannot believe it. How do you get back to sleep? And the answer is, you don't want to get back to sleep. The answer is, if you're Bali Moon, have a different answer. Well, Baruch Hashem, the American dream. And we woke up from the American dream. Now we could wake up to real life. Real life is Kem Chayenu Barachimenu, is serving Kadosh Baruch Hu. And with that wake up, Klal Yisrael really is primed, is really prepped, for a Geulah Shleima of Bekarov. We're holding it out mamish in the right before Chodesh Nisan, and the Nisan Asim Ligal, and everyone really has to have that sense that it's up to us. I'm saying it's really up to us. That we can make it happen. Right? Masay Yavim, Mahayim, B'kal Tishmoach, and Mashiach comes today. It's really up to us. And another idea that is just like that you all have to recognize is that, you talk about quarantine would be, well, what's the big deal if I go out? Just me, I'm just one person. And all of a sudden you have that patient zero is infecting the entire world. Okay, and this is a lesson to every Yid in Klal Yisrael. Every Yid thinks, so what's the big deal? Let's leave the tzidkas, like I've been saying for all these years. Leave the tzidkas to the tzaddikim. I have a Netflix platinum subscription, and what does it bother anybody? I'm in my basement, in a room behind the room, cheder, fnimina cheder. I got the shades drawn. I'm underneath my covers, and I have my headphones on. I'm incognito. And what does this bother anybody? And the answer is, all of a sudden, hey, maybe you're patient zero. And maybe you're the guy spreading. Who knows what type of tumor Klal Yisrael. That each person understands that we're all connected. That's really what you see from this. Everybody's connected. There's no such thing as person saying, oh, it's okay, I can do what I want, and it's not going to affect anybody. One person can literally affect the entire world, and in Ruchnis is much more obvious, and the effects are immediate. A person sitting in his house and doing things that he shouldn't be doing is literally making toxic waste around him, and all of a sudden people being rushed to the hospital. So he said, oh, a lot of Hatzalah going on. He doesn't realize, yes, it's Yuchas Hashem. contributing. I'm not saying you. I'm saying me. It's us. We all have to realize this. That it's really very serious. And when a person is Mekadosh Shem Shemaim, also there's a tremendous tire in the world. When a person is thinks that there's less din, less die, and he can do whatever he wants, then all of a sudden, Chas v'Shalom, this is affecting everybody. Just as far as taking a worldview, which I really don't normally do. I really think that, to start reading the papers and to start learning hashkafa from the newspapers and what's going on in the news is not normally the way I like to look at the world. I like to look at the world from more what Svarim say, not what the newspapers say. But in today's day and age, the world being turned upside down really gives us, just from the current events, it gives us ideas as to the tikkunim that are going on. To rebuild the Beis Hamikdash, we need to undo the Chorban of Bayis Sheni. Right, the last Chorban of Beis Hamikdash was Bayis Sheni. Who's Machav the Bayis Sheni? Anybody?
Rome, Italy.
The Romans, right? The Romans are Machav Bayis Sheni. Who's getting, out of all the countries in the world, right? Who's getting decimated now?
Today
Rome
was the highest death toll they had so far.
Huh?
I think 700 people died.
701 day.
It's like this. It's incredible. Like, who would think of all the countries in the world, Rome is the one that's getting decimated? Was Rome took all the Yidden Gauls and all these little towns where all this Magef is going on. There were Yiddish slaves over there, 2,000 years ago, or 1,950 years ago, after the Chorban, and we know it says that Kadosh Baruch Hu is Harisa Vaisal Shem Mamlucha. The step before Lashem Mamlucha, which is Mashiach, and Kadosh Baruch Hu is Shofet Har Seir, which is Edom, which is Rome. This is the
Yeah, but how could you have the children? What's the possibility that the children shouldn't have to die for the sins of their father?
These aren't children. This is Rome. Rome is Rome.
Also, why is it that China is also being hit very hard?
I was trying to figure out China in the picture. I don't have all the answers where China fits in. I don't know where China fits in historically, but they're like some sort of mysterious. I mean, up his side, I'm sure they have a type to them. I've heard references to China. I'm sure reference China as being the Bnei Hagar, maybe that Avram sent them Arza Bnei Kadem. He sent them away from Yitzchak and from Klal Yisrael. And he made some sort of reference to that. I don't have any references to China, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure. Where China fits into the picture, and I don't know anything about Rome either. I'm saying. I mean, you can't say anything, but you just have to. At the end of the day, we know there's a Tzipiyah Yeshua now, and we know there's going to be Lishvat Har Seir, right? And we know Rome was Machav the Bayis, the last Bayis. They're ultimately responsible, and there's going to be, you're going to hear how that the Svarim say that the seat of the Stitcher Ach of the Mamish, the seat of the Samach Mem, the Ach, the son, who's the ultimate Ra in the Welt, who's the ultimate Ra in the Welt, is the Catholic Church. You know what I'm saying? That's literally was looked at as literally the Kaichas Atum of the Welt. We don't appreciate that it's a Kaichas Atum of the Welt, but that's as I stated, is literally the church was always considered the seat of the Samach Mem. This is his throne is sitting there in the Vatican. I mean, and I'm not sure. I didn't hear any news about what's going on in Vatican City, but I imagine you're going to hear how the coronavirus is affecting the seat of the Sitra Achra, with some sort of weakening up the Sitra Achra, or some sort of nekama for the Sitra Achra before Klal Yisrael gets Be'ez Hashem, we get our geula. The Ramchal says that before Mashiach, he says when the two domes and the Har Bayis topple over, he says that when they get destroyed, he says then Mashiach is right there. It's a simile. I saw some Ramchal. I don't remember which sefer I saw it in. And interestingly enough, I saw that there's no prayers in the Har Bayis. The Muslims' prayers have been shut down on the Har Bayis. in the Makam Migdash. There's some sort of cleansing going on that if they're banished from being Metama, the Makam Migdash. It says Epis about the Makam Migdash is getting some sort of tire of Bez Hashem Yisbarach. I was thinking over Shabbos as following that there's a story that's told that happened during World War II. I don't remember which Rav it was, but there's a Rav of a certain shtat in Germany that at night when he went to sleep, he slept in his kapota, and he slept fully dressed in his kapota, his tie. He didn't want to get into pajamas at this point, during the war, beginning of the war. So they asked him why. So he says, what's going on now? They're going into Yidden's houses to pull Yidden out of their homes, and they're killing them. They're hanging them in the street, and they're doing this Rabbanim. He says, who knows? Maybe I'm going to be pulled out of my house in the middle of the night. If I'm pulled out of my house in the middle of the night in my pajamas, what a B'zayin HaTorah is going to be. Right? And Meili says, I'm prepared that if they pull me out, I look like a Rav, and it won't be a B'zayin HaTorah. I'll be hung looking like a Yid, looking like the symbol of a Yid, of a Jewish leader. So I was thinking, Me'idach Kisa, right? Baruch Hashem, no one's on the threat of being pulled out of the house to be killed now. That's not this exact detail. But Me'idach Kisa, right? Atzad HaTayv, everybody recognizes in any moment Mashiach's going to come. Right? Any moment the shofar is going to blow. Right? That's Achakalei B'Chayim Shiur, and the Simon on the ground. Mashiach's here any moment. So imagine if Mashiach comes and you're in the middle of a movie, or you're in the middle of a football game. I never know, no football now. You're in the middle of whatever it is. You're watching. Who knows what you're doing? You listen to Goyish music. You're involved in Olam Hazeh, and something that is not obvious. That it's a very, very inconsistent with Mashiach. Imagine Mashiach comes. What type of fool are you going to feel like at that point? So just like this Rav had to present himself in a way that if he got pulled out to be killed, he'd be presentable. I think every moment of our day, we have to recognize we better be presentable every moment of our day. That we're in a massive, that Mashiach comes, we're proud to repeat Mashiach. A guy's sitting and stuffing his face on steak. I'm not forget about Averis. A guy sitting and stuffing himself with face and totally involved in times all of a sudden. He has Shmal stripping down his face and he's half shikar on who knows what type of wine he's drinking. Mashiach comes. How's he going to feel running out to Mashiach with ketchup stains on his shirt and grease stains and high in wine, or a person Chas V'Shalom is mindful of tumah running out, or mindful of shtusim running out to be Mashiach. Our Achakalei B'Chayim Shiur should personify itself in a way that we're living every moment now that is consistent with the ultimate Geula B'Ez Hashem Yisbarach. That's I know that's what I was thinking about as far as Inyan and Diyayma. I hope the Olam agrees, a shtickle, with that perspective. And this really has to be a massive of not getting depressed, that we're not going to, that the American dream has just seemed to be taken a few steps further away from us, because it's not that the tachlis now is to wake up and realize the American dream is just a dream. And not only is it just a dream, it's actually a nightmare. To live a life fulfilling the American dream and thinking that this is the tachlis, this is the emes ultimate nightmare. A person lives his whole life thinking, I'll make enough money to be metam myself from head to toe. For let's say a person figures he can make enough money by the time he's 40, so he can be metam himself from head to toe until he's 60. I'm saying to have 20 years of tumah. I'm saying that's a dream. That's a nightmare. So that's something that this nightmare, Baruch Hashem, is being woken up from it and being zeich of emes to have a better outlook. I saw just maybe a word in last week's parsha. I saw the just a quick word on Vayakel, and Vayakel Pekude was actually the building of the Mishkan, and this is literally like where we're holding that in the Tziva of building Mishkans, and in the parsha the Mishkan was finally built, which is so synonymous with our Geula. Our Geula is our mitzvah to build a Mishkan. How do we build a Mishkan? So we time Nazay on Shabbos. Interesting. How do we build a Mishkan? Right? So we build a Mishkan with our mitzvahs and ma'aseh tovim, because we know Rashi and Sukkah tells us that the Mikdash Hashlishi is a Mikdash of Eish. right? It's going to come down from Shemayim. It's going to be based on Migdash Shel Eish to come down from Shemayim. And every mitzvah that we do is be'emes every ratzon for Tov, which is our Eish, our desire to serve Hashem that comes out in the Ma'aseh mitzvah, builds a Beis Hamikdash. It's a Migdash Shel Eish that we're building. And Mimela, every Yid has to recognize that this is what we're being Isaac in, right? The parsha was build the Mishkan, right? We're this is what we're doing right now. We're building a Mishkan, Be'ez Hashem. Be'ez Hashem, like the parsha was built finally. Be'ez Hashem, it was built. It's just waiting to come down any moment with one Yid's tshuva, one Yid's extra Mesiras Nefesh for a mitzvah, one Yid's Simcha Shel mitzvah, one Yid's Ratzon HaTov can literally just finally bring down this Migdash Shel Eish that's being built in Shemayim. So I was thinking that the pasuk says Vayakel, right? It says Moshe to gather Klal Yisrael and to tell him about the Mishkan, and then he told him about the mitzvah of Shabbos, Sheish Yom Tiyasu Malacha, right? V'yamashi Shabbos Hashem Alekecha. So Zok Rashi, they come to tell us that Binyan HaMikdash is not Deicha Shabbos. Then the pasuk says like don't make fire b'chol Shvei Seichem b'Yom Shabbos. The whole shaila is why do we have to have a special Isser? Why does it have to speak out the Isser of Eish on Shabbos or of Leisavar Eish? Why do you have to Leisavar Eish? Why do you have this separate Leisavar Eish? The Gemara says Havar is l'chalik or Havar is l'labiatis. The Gemara is Havar is a no karis and Havar. Or maybe Havar tells me l'chalik yasis to let me know that you chayv in every ad malacha but halamachas you chayv different chatas. But also state interesting like Savar Eish b'chol Shvei Seichem. It says you can't light a fire b'chol Shvei Seichem in your neighborhoods, in your dwelling places. So Chazal tells you can't make fires in your dwelling place, but the Beis Hamikdash you can make a fire because they would light fires in Shabbos to burn their karbanos. So I was thinking that the Isser Binyan HaMishkan in the Mishkan, in the Midbar, where were they building the base? Where were they building the Mishkan? They're building Mishkan in Olam Hazeh. They're building Mishkan with Lamites Malachos, with true Lamites Malachos. So the true Lamites Malachos, HaKadosh Baruch Hu says, Sheisham Tiyasu Malacha v'Yamashi Shabbos Hashem Lekecha. However, the Binyan HaShlishi, which we're Isaac in, is not a Binyan in Olam Hazeh. It's not Lamites Malachos of Asiyah, a meisin that you're doing with your hands. Rather, it's a Binyan with our ruts, and it's a binyan of through our mitzvahs, and it's a binyan of Eish. The pasuk says like Sevara Eish b'chol Shvei Seichem b'Yom Shabbos, but you can't light fires. You can't do malacha with fire b'chol Shvei Seichem in your dwelling places. However, Avada Shabbos is of this time of year, which is Shabbos is the greatest chus for Klal Yisrael, brings the greatest kedusha Avada Avodah. Shabbos is building a Mishkan Shleish in Shemayim. So what could be Meramis to is that we're building the Mishkan Shleish the Migdash Shleish now. We do this even on Shabbos because not B'chol Shvei Seichem. The Migdash Shleish that we're building is actually with Avodah of Shabbos. But this is what we were thinking about on Shabbos. That Shabbos is. Chazal tells us if Klal Yisrael, Shom Yisrael, Shabbos, Shtei Shabbos, so Shabbos Echad, the Schus Shabbos is what brings Mikdash, and it's the mitzvah of Shabbos is what actually is a havar of Eish, but not from Shvei Seichem. It's the building of a Mikdash Shel Eish. Yiras Mishtakev B'Zoicha that the last Shabbos and this coming Shabbos, the first Shabbos of Nisan, is going to be Gimel Nisan. If Mashiach comes on Sunday, Dal Nisan, we'll have plenty of time for all of us to become Tar. Like I spoke about Thursday night with the Eifa Para to bring the Karban Pesach, but B'Taira. And Be'ez Hashem, this really has to be our tzipiyah right now. It's really downgrading our connection to Gashmias and our tremendous desires and recalibrating for a desire of Tikkun and Ruchnius. This week's parsha should say just a drop of Vayikra al Moshe, Vaydaber Hashem Elamai al Moed. We'll just do a pasuk with Rashi like a minig is. Vayikra al Moshe, Vaydaber Hashem Elamai al Moed Lema. So the lashon Vayikra is that there's a small aleph. Moshe Rabbeinu was machzir himself. We said over the different pshatim in the pshat in the small aleph that Moshe Rabbeinu saved he saved ink from this and because when Moshe Rabbeinu wrote the Sefer Torah, he left off they left out ink. He made the letter a quarter the size. He has 3/4 of a letter left. And we said that this ink was the Karen Arpanav. He said Rav Shimshon Ashtrapoli makes such a cheshbon. Let's just see that. Let's see the first Rashi. Vayikra Moshe Chol Dibros Chol Mis Chol Tzivim Kam Mekriya Lashon Chiba. Kadosh Baruch calls him Lashon Chiba. Lashon Malach Hasharis Mishtamshim Bay. Shnema Vikara Zeh El Zeh. Alavia Umus Olam Niga Leim Lashon Arai V'Tuma Shnema Vikar Elikim El Bilam. That Hakadosh Baruch Hu, when he appeared to Bilam, was attacked without the aleph. Vayikar, Shtein Zayar, Vayikar. Well, in Pashup Vayikar is lashon mikra. It's lashon just by chance. In the Zayar state, Vayikar is lashon keri, lashon of tuma. Right? That it says Chas v'Shalom to think for a moment that Hakadosh Baruch Hu B'kedusha V'Tara was appeared to Bilam. And Bilam he's tamei. Hakadosh Baruch Hu wouldn't appear to tamei. Vayikar lekimel Bilam is Hakadosh Baruch Hu sent the kayach hatuma to Bilam to speak to him. That's lashon of Vayikar. Mashegei to Moshe Rabbeinu Vayikra is a lashon of chiba that Hakadosh Baruch Hu describes as chiba to Klal Yisrael, right? Like the lashon of Rashi says Malach Hashem Shtam Shebashnema Vikar Zeh El Zeh. Okay, so anyway, just a little hakdama. This week's parsha, the first it starts off the parsha of Karbonos, and the first carbon that is introduced to Klal Yisrael is a carbon oila. Carbon oila is a unique carbon that it's the only carbon that you burn the entire carbon, at least of a zevach, right? It's the only carbon that you burn the entire carbon on the mizbech, I should say. Right? The avodah of the carbon oil is right. You shecht it, you do kabbalah, you do zvika, you do halacha, zvika sadam shtaim shein arba. Then you do heshrin and tuach. A coalition like the Mishnah in Ezem Mekayim tells us. A carbon oil is the Gemara says tells us is mechaper on chai ve'asei. First in mevatel mitzvah say. So then a person brings the carbon oil and it's mechaper on all the mitzvah say that he's mevatel. And not only the person doesn't have to bring one carbon oil for each mitzvah say. One carbon oil is mechaper on all the mitzvah say that a person was mevatel. It's also mechaper on here who are leif. Person has thoughts that are inappropriate. The carbon oil is mechaper. Okay. So that's a little introduction to Parshas Vayikra. Okay, Vayikra has in it again. We starting off the Karbonos, which a Karbonos is as we know the whole Indian of Karbonos is showing us Mesiras Nefesh. The Chinuch goes, who obviously was famous for giving time of all sorts of mitzvahs. And when he gets to Karbonos and Avodas HaMikdash, he gives a big hakdamas that there's so mechudesh the avodah and everything about it is such high level that to really fully understand it is beyond their comprehension. But ultimately, he says on a very basic level is that a yid has to be willing to be Moshe Nefesh Takadosh Baruch Hu. And when a yid brings a carbon, he has to be recognizing that the emes, whatever is being done to this carbon, should be done to me personally. But this person has to really, literally have to be willing to give up his life for his avodas Hashem and totally sacrifice everything for HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And also he mentions that when a person brings a carbon and he sees that life is short, right? A carbon is a person faces the death of an animal. Death of an animal is at the end of the day is death. And a person realizes that we're not here forever. And so Mela, it's a wake up call to a person. That's what the avodah of Karbonos is. Besides, obviously, all the kedusha of it that the avodah and the avodas hakainim and the machshav of the kainim is on such high level. They had Karbonos that literally they were makasher all the ulamas to make such a hashpah of chesed in the world. But on a very simple level, it's a person recognizing that we really have to be Moshe Nefesh Takadosh Baruch Hu, and the fact that we have that's enough that we have that his iris, right? Takadosh Baruch Hu b'chasik allows us to have this iris to wake us up and not have to actually go through that actual Mesiras Nefesh ourselves. So the ikar is you have to be in this iris that we have to be Moshe Nefesh Takadosh Baruch Hu. That's our Karbonos. Okay, let's do a little halach for Pesach. you have a Mishnah Berurah, if you have a Mishnah Berurah, so maybe we'll do again. Okay, let's see. We learned these suggestions in the beginning of Psachim about who's mechuyev to do a bedika when you rent a house from your friend. Okay, I'm going to read a little bit from Taf Lamed Zayin. So the Shulchan Aruch said as a Hamaski Bayis Chaver Litzarich Yudalit Umimenu Ve'elech V'Kano Be'echem Me'adrochim Sheschiras Karka Nikne Boy. So the Shulchan Aruch Pascal is right. The Gemara had a shaila if you're Maski Bayis on Yudalit and you masker bias in your dalid, right? So you made up on before Pesach. You're going to be moving in on your dalid. You're paying rent from your dalid the day of Erev Pesach. So we have a problem, right? You have the leil b'dikas chametz. The owner of the house, it's his house. The person that's renting it for Pesach is going to be there for Pesach. It's not yet his. Masha ain't Cain. Who's going to be there Pesach? Who's going to be the one that's going to have to be living there if there's any chametz there? Who's going to be the one to be affected by chametz over there? That's the person that's going to be living there. That's the renter. So when it comes leil b'dikas chametz, who is the one that's mechuyev to do the bedika? The owner. It's his now. But midach he's always going to say, listen, I'm not going to be here for Pesach, and this guy's going to be here for Pesach. Let him come and do a bedika tonight, right before, because at the end of the day, it's going to be his for Pesach. So we saw in the Gemara, that's all totally in Mesir Samafteach. Okay, that whoever has the keys he has access to the house the night of the B'dikas Chametz. It doesn't matter whether you own it yet, or it doesn't matter whether you can be there, right? If you have access to it, so the Chiyuv B'dikas is on the person that has access to it. So if the Baal Abai still has the keys, he's equipped to do the B'dika Leil Gimel. And if we have already given over the key to the renter, even though the renter's not moving until tomorrow, at the end of the day, he's going to be there for Pesach. He has to do the B'dika. Okay, so let's just see the Shulchan Aruch inside. Someone rents a house from his friend to start he's going to be moving in on Erev Pesach. And he's going to be there through Pesach. The Kano Be'echem Me'adrochim Sheschiras Karka Nikne Boy. And he's done a kinyan on it. Okay, so the Shulchan Aruch Paskin, the Mishnah Berurah speaks out like the Ran, that the Chiyuv B'dika is chal on the renter, or possibly chal on the renter, is only if the renter already has a kinyan done on it. He's done a kinyan already to be kainit for Pesach. But if he has not done a ma'aseh kinyan on it yet, so he has no shaykhs to it, right? He's planning on making ma'aseh kinyan tomorrow. What do I care what he's planning about? At the end of the day, he has not solidified his shaykhs to this property. So maybe the Shulchan Aruch passes like the Ran, that in order for the possibility of the renter to be the one to do the bedika, is you would have to have some sort of kinyan on it. Right? So Mela, so then, if the renter does not yet have the key, though, even though he has a kinyan that's it's firmly going to be his for tomorrow, still he does not yet have the key yet. He does not yet have the key. The owner of the property is the one that has to do the bedika. But if you already gave him the maftech, so he has tartil tivusa. First of all, he has a kinyan in it for tomorrow, so he has a shach's property, and he has access to it now. The leil b'dikas chametz. Al seichel livda, the seichel is the one has to do the bedika. Okay. Okay, let's just see the next halacha. Hasaycher bais mechaver. So all this previously was talking about that you made up with him before Pesach that you're going to be moving in on your dal, but you already made up beforehand. So I mean, leil your dalit, you already made up that you're moving in already. So Mela, then there's at that point there's a shaila of who's the one that's responsible. The house is in limbo leil badika. It's in between a saycher and a maskir. So then it's totally in misir samafteach. However, if you did not start the interaction between the renter and the owner of the property until after the chiyuv b'dika, until you dial in the morning, so then if I come to you and you dial in the morning, I'm renting a property from you, do I have to do a b'dika or not? That was Shala Gemara, right? Is it b'cheskasei badik? B'cheskasei ain't a badik. Okay, so Hasech Baras Mechaver B'Yadalit. Then you're doing who badik. He doesn't know if it's badik. Right, so Tais asked the guy. So Tais answered, which the Shulchan Aruch brings down. If the guy's in town, you have to ask him whether he's buying. You can't be Simon Chazaka to bar it. But the case of the Mishnah was whether there's a Shiloh, whether it's the case of Gemara, whether there's a Shiloh, whether it's Chazkasei Badik, Chazkasei Eida Badik, is when there's no 18 in Mabarit. We made a beer Chazkasei Badik. So Allah is Chazaka that we buy to get. Mavatli believe it dayu. So a person doesn't have to do Bedikas Chametz on that property. If you rent the property from Yid on Yudalad, the Chiyuv B'dika Leil Yudalad was already the Chiyuv of the Balabais, and Mela you can assume that he did his B'dika. So the Mishabur asked a kasha, has a shiloh over here. Why do I have to mevatel chametz if I rent the property from you? Right, and I'm chayshish that maybe there's some chametz that you left behind, right? I don't have to do b'dika because that could be samach on the chazaka. But just in case there's chametz over there, I'm mevatel any chametz in the house. So the shayla is, what am I being? Whose chametz am I being mevatel? It's not my chametz. I don't need to mevatel your chametz, right? The mistama, the owner, did a b'dika, and mistama, he was mevatel his own chametz. And so what does it have to? So why do I have to do a bittul? So the Mishabur says if katan yud mevatel b'levai the afal pisha chametz ein shaloi. Even though the chametz is not yours, so what are you doing? Being mavat chametz not yours. You can't be mavat chametz not yours. The answer is in as much as mistama the Baal Bais was mafkir. Now you have hefker chametz in your rented property. If you have hefker chametz in a property that you just rented, it becomes yours, right? You kind of became the chatzer. Mistama v'kira maskik shatim men of zachabay asaycher. The saycher zaycher did midin kin chatzer, and in Mela he's going to have to do a bittul on stuff that even though it was never his, but it became his when the Baal Bais does his bittul on it. So, what happens? Right, this again, the Gemara we learned already. Then I'm asking about chaver b'chaskas badik. So I rent the house from you, and the chaskas is badik, right? That so there's two pshat chaskas badik, but one would be like the case of the sif before that I rented to you your dalit. So meichet avadi you did a b'dika and leyud gimel, and memela. And then I come in and I see this. I open up the cabinet. I see they're full of chametz. I see that you could declare there's no bedika, none at all. So who is mechayiv to do the bedika now? I should call you up and say, listen, you were supposed to do the bedika. It was your chiyuv last night. He says, yeah, it was my chiyuv last night, but you know what? It's no longer mine now. It's yours, and now it becomes your chiyuv. So I'll say livdike. Right? The seicher is now the ones mechayiv to do bedika. The Baal Bais did the wrong thing by not doing his mitzvah. But at the end of the day, the seicher is there now. And he's going to be living there. He has to do the bedika. Then in mekach tois, and he can't claim mekach tois. If he makash a bite even though it's going to cost him money to get the bedika done, because this is a place where they hire people to do bedikas. Shari mitzvah hu aisa. We say that nicha leinish la ben mitzvah b'mamayne. Yesh aimim the tzarich lachzor schar bedika. The hell vistim behadji shia badik. There are those that say that maybe it's not a much, but not a big of a tois to become consider mekach tois, because I'm happy to do a mitzvah, but maybe I could be tevei you at least to take off, to deduct from the rent, right, the amount of the cost of bedika. Because at the end of the day, as far as cheshbon, I made up, let's say $1,000 a yontif, and that was al das that I wouldn't have to spend $50 on a bedika, And the male does can sign that you can take off that amount off the rent. And here's the final Gemara that we did on the base. You have a house that there's a chazaka that the basket did not do, even though there normally is a chazaka, right? But we know he's been out of town for last month, and you rented it from him for Pesach, and he hasn't been around lately. So there's a raise to the chazaka. Right? In as much as only b'dikas chametz is the rabbanon. So the chazal were mam and isha ever cotton to say that they're by the gushay cotton sheish b'das lived there. Obviously, anyone that's saying that they did a bedika, you have to look at them and be able to evaluate that they are on the level that they're talented enough, put together enough to make a bedika. Okay, that was Simon Tafel on the Zion. That was all four sifim, and the basic it's a chazara of the Gemaras we did on Daf Dal and Daf Dal on the base. Okay, let's learn a little Gemara over here. I'll just tell you one thing that I saw over Shabbos. I think everyone we didn't have any pnimis hatara today, but I saw something on Shabbos from Rabbi Shimshon Astropoli, actually from Sefer Karnayim, whatever. It's like a real kabbalistic type of sefer, but this is something I think is very, very, very tzuga pass for us. That when we're in a massive of doubt, a massive insecurity, so we say Ufrois Aleinu Sukash Shleimecha, right? We said Hashkivenu, right? We say Hashkivenu, we have it right. Hashkivenu of Son Ufrois Aleinu Sukash Shleimecha Saknein Beisam Penach Beishin Mashmech Magei Ma'adei Masim Aleinu, right? Dever V'Chavrov Yagay Masim Sat Mochnein Machenu. But all the threats of the world, you say Ufrois Aleinu Sukash Shleimecha. It's in your Sukash Shalom. So what is this? What is this in your Sukkah Shalom? So I saw the Shimshon Astropoli in Sefer Dan Yadin. It's a pirush on a sefer called Sefer Karnayim, which is it's a very, very kabbalistic type of sefer. But this is just a pretty simple point. He says that the side of first Aleinu Sukkah Shleimech is as follows, right? He says. We know we talk about all the time. Every time we say a bracha, we say Hashem's name. So Hashem's name is written Yud Kei Vav Kei, and we pronounce it right. We say Aleph Dalet, right? Ad Hashem, and you're supposed to be mechabim both. So he says the first Aleinu Sukkah Shleimecha is you have to put Isis Yud Kei Vav Kei, right? Yud Kei Vav Kei on top of the Isis Aleph Dalet and Nun. And then Yud. Okay, so you have on top of the you have Yud on top of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Below you have the Aleph of Aleph Dalet. Then you have the K of Yud Kei Vav Kei. Below it you have the Dalet of Aleph Dalet. You got the picture? Very simple, right? 4 letters on top of 4 letters. Okay, and he says this is how you draw the picture of Sukkah Shleimecha. Same Avaya is Chesed. Okay, and this is the Schach. Right, meaning it's the cover of Shem Aleph Dalet. Okay, everyone got the picture? Is it pretty straightforward? Just shake your heads if you're on mute, or give me 2 thumbs up. Okay, so everyone got the picture. So he says, I say, when you have it in this setup, we'll do a little multiplication. Okay, you have a Yud of Yud Kei Vav Kei on top of the Aleph of Aleph Dalet. What's Yud times Aleph? 10. Right? Ask him? Okay. You get to the next letter. What's the next letter on top of the next letter? It's a Hey of Yud Kei Vav Kei on top of the Dalet of Aleph Dalet. Right? Is that clear? So shake your head. Yeah? Okay. So what's Hey times Dalet? 20. 20 plus 10, up to 30. Okay? You have the Vav is on top of a Nun. This would be a big one. You guys can move up to 3 digits. Vav times Nun, 6 times 50. 300. Up to 300. Okay? So up to add off up to 330. Right? Then we have the hey, the last hey of Yud Kei Vav Kei on top of the Yud of Aleph Daled, the last letter of Aleph Daled, right? What's hey times Yud? 50. 330 plus 50 is? 330 plus 50 is how much? 380. I can read your lips, Mandy. You're the only one responding. So keep it up. Now get up to 380. What's 380 Bigamatria? What's Shalom Bigamatria? Shalom is for you. What's Shalom Bigamatria?
Yeah, I'm having a little problem with my.
So Shalom is a Gematria 376. With its 4 ICAs. 376 plus 4 equals what?
Plus 4
Plus
equals
4,
381.
380. 376 plus 4 is 380, right? Okay. Man, listen, you can get it wrong. You have coronavirus. You don't have to get your math well with the right on coronavirus. But that's one off for coronavirus. So you get the 380. What's 380? Bigamachia. For Saleda Sukas Shiloi Mecha. You get it? You get it? So that's why it's called Sukas Shalom. Okay, when you align the two shapes of HaKadosh Baruch Hu like that, you do the math, it ends up being Sukas Shalom. Okay? Now, interestingly enough, in Shemona Esrei, right, this lineup, you're supposed to be mechaven every time you bow in Shemona Esrei. When you bow by Magen Avram, the beginning, you mechaven to the Yud and the Aleph. When you bow second time by Magen Avram, you mechaven to the Hey and the Dalet. When you bow at the beginning of Moedim, you mechaven to the Vav and the Nun. When you bow at the end of Moedim, you mechaven to the K and the Yud. What do you say immediately after at that point? Sim Shalom. Thank you, Mandy, for responding. Okay, anyone else here with me? I just feel like I'm talking to it's just so quiet. Everyone's on mute, and most people don't have their faces showing anymore. Okay. Oh, Betsy, you here the whole time? Let's put you in the middle for a second.
What?
How you feeling?
Not so great.
You have the virus?
I don't know.
You have some fever?
Yeah,
What do you got?
my body aches
How long are you feeling this way for?
since Friday night.
You drinking plenty of tea?
Water, yeah.
Drink hot drinks, a lot of hot drinks. Okay. Givaldik. So Yochanan's back? Okay. Givaldik. Okay, let's learn a little bit of Gemara over here, yeah? Okay, let's learn a little bit on Holy Davavim and Beis. Okay. Let's do for the two dots Davavim and Beis. You guys have Gemara's Davavim and Beis? Okay. Rav Yehuda, Rav. Okay, this is one of the most famous Gemaras in the Perek. Tais has already introduced it to us already on Daf Bezim and Aleph, right? The moment we start introducing Bedika, immediately with the Bedika, we introduce Bittul. So Rav Yehuda, Rav, Haboidek Tzarech Sheyivato. After you do Bedika, you have to do Bittul. Okay? What is Bittul? What is Bittul? Right, so Bittul we had already a Daf Dalmid Beis. Bittul is, the Gemara told us, Midaraisa Bittul Ba'al Masaki. Again, just to review one of the main points in Psachim, Machlekes Rashi and Taisus, what Bittul is. Rashi says Bittul is Bittul Belev, okay? And Taisus says Bittul is a Ma'aseh Hefker. Okay, that's the Machlekes Rashi what Bittul is. So the Gemara says, Amar Rav Yehuda Marav, even though you did Bedika, so you did a Ma'aseh of beer of all your chametz. Besides your Ma'aseh Bedika, which means finding your chametz and destroying your chametz, Habaydik tzarich sheyivatel. My timer. Why would you have to do bittul if you got rid of your chametz? So you're done. What's left to do after you having physically gotten rid of all your chametz? What are you being mevatel b'leiv according to Rashi? And what according to Taisa you being mafkir? There's nothing here. Zok Rashi, habaydik tzarich sheyivatel b'liboy in his heart. Samach lebedika miyad immediately after bedika. V'ayim kochamir dika beisa day libatel. So it's interesting. Lashon Rashi says b'liboy, and he says an amira. If it's believer, why does he have to say anything? Rashi should say believer, and he thinks in his heart, right, that he thinks in his heart this idea. So it's interesting. Rashi says believer, but your lave is you regala the machshava, the thoughts of your heart, by actually saying kol chamira. So why do you have to do bittul if you actually physically got rid of the chametz? It's all gone. So the Gemara, my time, inay mishum pirurin. You tell me I have to do bittul for little crumbs. Crumbs are meaningless, right? And therefore, there's no bayura, bayumatza on crumbs. They don't have any value, and they're memela batal, right? Right? They're memela batal. They have no chashivas, and memela something that be'emes has no chashivas is not considered mine. Why do I have to do a ma'isa of bittul on it? Chitema may be going to tell me. Kiv the mintal like at basic chashivi may be going to tell me. That's something that is not chashiv, but if I guard it, I give it chashivit by watching it, in as much as it's in my house. My house is locked to the outside, so I'm watching everything in my house. It's guarded, and therefore, even things that don't normally have chashivas, they get chashivas by being guarded. Tanya, look to the brisa. We looked at brisa. That's not true, right? That when something is being watched. Only agavdik, only when it's being only watched in a non-mechumendika way, right? I mean, a guy keeps the doors of his house locked. He doesn't keep the doors of his house locked to prevent people from stealing crumbs. He keeps the doors of his house locked. He doesn't want people stealing his. I'm trying to see what Mendy has in it behind him that someone would want to steal. Steal his Gedalim picture. Oh, there's a big picture of Rabbi Eli on the wall that was going to steal. So that's why he keeps his doors locked. He doesn't keep his doors. Speaking of doors locked, if you need any locks on your house, there you go. If you need any locks on your house, this is station identification. This year is being one of our sponsors is the Mendy Rosen Locksmithing and Company. If you need any help with any of your locks, give Mendy a call. Okay.
Also, if you want to sell your property.
Oh, right. Main thing is you want to sell your property, right? That's selling one property is equivalent to a lot of locks. So if anyone has a property to sell, call Mendy. Mendy Rosen and Associates. Okay, Zakti Gemara. So Mela says that, if you're watching something agav orcha, that's not considered watching. It's only when you're bedafka watching it do you give chashivas. Batanya, seifis te'enim. Right, the halacha is when it comes to trumas and maisis. You only mechoyev to give trumas and maisis on stuff that's not hefker. If something's hefker, you don't have to give trumas and maisis on it. So you have a guy who has in his field. He has saifei te'enim. These are figs that are not ripening. Okay, so there's a shaila. Is a guy. He's not going to gather them in. He's going to be mafkir. Okay. However, he's not letting people into his field. Normally, when you're mafkir, your stuff in your field, you open up your gates. You feel 60 to let people in to take it. However, this guy, he'd be happy to let everyone come and take these unripe figs, I should say. However, his grapevines are still producing. He doesn't want people taking his grapes. His grapes are still in the process of being harvested. So he has these unripened figs that are never going to ripen that he's willing to be mafkir. But he's mishamis them because he has grapes in there that have to be that are still growing, or the opposite, right? You have to learn a little bit about timing of when how stuff grows, right? You see that te'enim figs, they ripen first, then none of them ripen. After that, enough of them ripen, then people have in their backyards, they're growing also vegetables. The vegetables continue to ripen, and the way vegetables work is actually vegetables are always ripening, right? We spoke about this once upon a time, right? The way HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes it is the things that don't really last that long, right? They ripen at a very staggered. If you have a tomato bush, right? If all your tomatoes ripen on the same day, you have a big problem. You have 1,000 tomatoes. You have 3 days to eat them, and how are you going to get rid of so many tomatoes so quickly? HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes it that tomatoes, right, to ripen today, to ripen tomorrow, to ripen the next day, or whatever it is. It's spread out over a period of a couple of months, right? Your tomatoes are ripening. Mashiach can say apples basically ripen at the same time. You put them you throw them away, apples will last a couple of months, right, etc. So the guy has the figs that he's willing to be mafkir, but he still has grapes. Or his grapes he's ready to mafkir because he collected all his grapes. There's just stuff that's not going to grow anymore, and he's willing to mafkir, but he's still gardening his field. Because of the gourds and the pumpkins. So Melech is much about Bais Makbaleva. So the Bais is Makbid on the Seif Tanim or the Seif Novim. Then you can't take it because even though he may be mafkir, but if he wasn't mafkir, you can't take it. You can't assume it's hefker, and it's chayv ma'aser because it's not hefker. However, finish up over here. So Gemara says that why would you have to do badika on mishum perurin when perurin are not chashiv? Are you going to tell me maybe they're chashiv by virtue of the fact that if they're guarded? We find that stuff guarded inadvertently is not considered, doesn't give it chashivas, just like we find by these fruits that are hefker, even though you can't access it because they're being guarded because he's guarding other fruits, they're still considered hefker. So Mela, why would you have to do bittul? Zakti Gemara, Amarava, about 10 lines, 9 lines on the bottom. Amarava Gzeira, Shema Yimtza Glufka Yafa, V'daiti Iluya. Right, Rabbi says you have to do a bittul because you're worried that by mistake in your bedika you left behind something chashiv. A gluska yafi might have left behind a nice donut, and you didn't notice a donut. It rolled underneath the couch, and all of a sudden you move your couch on Pesach and you find a nice donut. And Mimela, we're worried you're going to find this nice donut. You find a nice donut. If you do bittul, that's going to help you for this donut. How does bittul help you for this donut? Okay. Zakt Rashi. V'daiti iluya, right? Shema yimtza gluska yafa. V'daiti iluya. What does that mean? Zakt Rashi. V'daiti iluya means chashuvi be'enav. The chas alel is sarfa. Umasha afilu rega echad. If you don't do bittul, right? You just did bedika, and you're being simon that you were successfully removed all the chametz from your house. What happens if you find a nice piece of chametz in your house, right? So now you think, should I get rid of it, or maybe I should eat it? So Rashi says, if you waver for a second, if you waver for a second, that you say, oh wow, this looks delicious, maybe I should keep it. Oh no, it's Pesach. That moment of wavering makes you be over by your matzeh. Like cost of elatash bisu. So Rashi says, but if you did bittul already, right? So if Rashi, you can't be over Abayira if you do bittul, because bittul I was mekayim tashbisu, and so if it's mushbas, right, it's gone. I want it. It's too late. It's gone already. So mela bittul is the ikar tashbisu katak Rashi, and in mela once they do tashbisu, it's impossible to be over Abayira by your matzah. However, if I did not do if I was just being samech on my beer, then I may have a problem if I find something interesting. Why do you have to do bittul automatically? Why don't you just say do bittul right away at that point when you find it? So according to Rashi, he says, what do you mean Rashi just said you could have a nisayin, right? So Tais asked Rashi, what is the Gemara? Rashi already answered that. Why there's a problem? Because you're going to waver for a moment. At that point, it's too late to be mivatel. Fine. Zok Taisis. Let's just see Taisis. V'daiti Eluya. Pirish v'loy bottom me'elef my prim about pirish because my property pishkach levatla. Pirish v'daiti Eluya shchas levatla. right? It says, so Rashi, Taisis literally, Daiti Luya is a Taich, you're going to find it, and it's not bottom like Purim. Daiti Luya just means it's a way of saying it has Chashiva. But according to Rashi, Daiti Luya means you have some sort of Kumva Asay Das to keep it, right? In fact, Taisis, what do you mean? How could the Gemara ask that when you find it, do a bittul on it at that point? When Rashi just said Hagufa, you're going to find a tasty looking donut, and you're going to have an automatic das to keep it. So Mela, we already entered this kasha in Rashi chat. Mela Taisun Vidai Dilu is just a pshat that is not bottle me'elav like Pururin. Okay, so Bekitzer, I think Gemara says you have to do bittul immediately after Bedika, because the bittul is going to take care of the problem of Shem Yimtzak Luskiyaf, anything chashiv besides Pururin, greater than Pururin. Some sort of chashiv form of chametz that bittul is going to take care of. If it was left behind, bittul is going to in advance make sure that you're not over any rabbi matzah. Okay, our bais has been very gishmak, but we thank you, Shaul, for putting us together. Thank you, everyone, for joining us. And if anybody wants to schmooze with me anytime, give me a call on my phone. You have my number. And Mirz Hashem, tomorrow, you'll send out your update on the chat, right, for tomorrow around 11, Mirz Hashem, okay?
Rebbe, tomorrow I might be able to do it without a limit on it.
Okay, so let us know. Very good.